Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here with a follow-up video on the death of Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins. If you guys follow the channel, you know I shared a video last week where I was talking about his passing and that he had died in an accident in South Florida on Interstate 595. And so a really tragic death. It turns out that he was hit by a dump truck. And then after being hit by the dump truck, he was hit by a second car. And so more information is coming out. And I'm sure I'm probably not the only person that was thinking this had to have been like perhaps a suicide attempt or, a suicide, since he did pass away, because it just didn't make any sense that he would be trying to run across traffic. And police had stated at the time that his car was found on a service road. And, service roads are the roads that run alongside the interstate. And sometimes you can get off and drive these roads to get to like a neighborhood or something like that. So in any event, more information is coming out as they are preparing to lay him to rest. I believe there's going to be 3 different services, and the first one being today. And so information has come out about a 911 call that was placed by his wife. And then also his parents have released a statement and have indicated that they are not going to attend his funeral. 911 call, the recording was released, but it seems to have been retracted. It's no longer available. At least it's not available on any of the articles that I have been following. They have removed the link to the 911 call, but there is transcripts out there about the call. And then police say that their investigation is still ongoing and that they will not be making a statement until they have concluded the investigation. And you would think that if it was just an accident where he was trying to cross the interstate, that this would have been an open and shut case, but that doesn't appear to be the issue. And the reason I think that there may be more to this story than they're letting on is, one, there was a past incident in, I believe it was last year, may have been, where Dwayne was actually a victim of domestic violence. Men do get abused by their spouses and their partners, and that was the case. Him and his wife, I believe they were in Las Vegas, and there was a physical altercation where she hit him, knocked his tooth out, and I believe he refused to press charges against her, so she was released. And so maybe there was still turbulence, because then they got married in January of this year. So several months after this altercation, he decided to marry her. So this is just me speculation, me looking at this situation, saying that there's more to it than meets the eye. And then also the investigators, the police is also, law enforcement is also saying that they haven't concluded their investigation. And then one more thing, I was looking at some video footage of a YouTuber who is a trucker. And so I guess someone had radioed him to say, hey, there was an accident. Are you near 595? Can you go check it out? And so he went to the area, but of course they had removed the body and everything by that time, because I believe the accident happened early in the morning, and then it may have been a couple hours later when he was there. But in any event, he videoed the area, on both sides of the highway. And there was no gas station, because the story is, which is coming from the wife, we're now learning, is that he had ran out of gas and he was trying to go and get gas. Now I'm thinking this is a professional football player. Granted, he didn't have like a big huge contract worth millions of dollars, but I'm sure he had enough money that, one, he was in a rental car. So the rental companies often offer roadside assistance, right? Why didn't he call the rental company to say, hey, I ran out of gas, can you send the roadside assistance? Did he not have roadside assistance like, AAA that he could have called? Also, did they find a gas can, since the wife is saying that he was going to get gas because he had ran out of gas? One, was the car really out of gas? And two, was there a gas container? Like, how was he going to collect the gas? And then the other thing was, when the guy showed the area, there was no gas station. I didn't see any gas station. So why would you try to cross this multi-lane highway when people, I'm sure there was a lot of traffic on the road when the accident happened, because it was early in the morning and people, were traveling, going to work. And so I'm just really confused. It's not adding up to me as to why he would try to cross, multi-lane highway. I'm talking maybe 4 lanes in both directions. And so you're talking 8 lanes you're trying to cross. Traffic is coming in both directions. There's no visible gas station. Why not just continue to walk along the service road until you come to a gas station? So these are probably things that the police are also looking into and questions that they have. But I'm going to start with this one article where they talk about the wife and this 911 call. So it says, the last time Dwayne Haskins talked to his wife, he told her that he was on his way to get gas. Haskins was in South Florida with a group of Pittsburgh Steelers teammates for training. On the morning of April 9th, he called his wife, Calabria Haskins, back in Pittsburgh. He told her that he was stuck on the side of the highway and he was going to get gas. She told a 911 operator, but then she didn't hear back from him. So this was very unlike her husband, she said. She called his phone but got no answer, and then his phone stopped working. So Calabria Haskins called 911 wanting to see if they could get someone to check and see if Haskins was okay. I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm at home. We were on the phone. He was getting back and he called me. And so if he's back, it's not like him or for him to, not call me back. His phone is all dead and he's stranded by himself. He was walking though. All right, so I don't want you to panic. But I'm going to be honest with you. Do you? And then this is the 911 operator. So let me read that again. It says, all right, so I don't want you to panic, but I'm going to be honest with you. We do have an incident on the highway, but I can't confirm if that's your husband. So that was the 911 operator responding to the wife. So Calabria Haskins asked the operator if they knew anything about the incident. The dispatcher had Calabria Haskins give a brief description of what her husband looked like and what he was probably wearing at the time. The 911 operator then told Calabria Haskins that she needed to put her on a brief hold while she talked to dispatch. While Calabria Haskins waited on hold, she says she prayed. Now remember, she's calling the 911 operator, saying that she's concerned about her husband. So when the hold ended, the 911 operator returned, but with no new information she could give Calabria Haskins. She told Calabria Haskins that she couldn't confirm anything, but asked her to stay by her phone and accept any calls from blocked or private numbers, because that might be law enforcement trying to reach her with an update. Calabria Haskins asked if accident meant something good or bad. Could it be just someone reporting a man walking? The 911 operator said that she couldn't confirm anything beyond an accident that happened. The answer could come hours later, when it was reported that Haskins had died after being struck by a dump truck on I-595 in Broward County. Calabria Haskins called to 911 that morning, ended up the last of several that 911 received. Several other people called before to report a man being struck on the highway. Recordings of the calls were released on Wednesday by the Broward Sheriff's Office. In one, a woman sounds frantic. She's screaming and crying. She told the 911 operator that she saw a dump truck hit a man. A second caller also said she saw a man get struck. She does her best to describe the location to 911 while screaming at people to get off the road. What happened is still being investigated by the Florida Highway Patrol. The final traffic homicide report is not done. FHP said they typically take about 90 days, but FHP has released a copy of the initial crash report. According to the report, a dump truck was heading westbound in the center lane of I-95 just east of I-595 just east of I-95 at about 6:30 a.m. About the same time, a witness told Florida Highway Patrol that she saw a man, later identified as Haskins, walking on the outside line edge of I-595. He walked southbound into the westbound lanes, according to the report. That's when, according to FHP, the dump truck struck Haskins. Another witness told FHP that the dump truck driver did seem to veer, possibly trying to avoid hitting Haskins. Per the report, the dump truck driver stayed at the scene. And then they go on to talk about the memorials that are going to take place, scheduled for Friday in Pittsburgh, which is today. Memorials are scheduled in Rockaway Township, New Jersey, and Potomac, Maryland. 4 days after his death, Calabria Haskins released a statement, and she said, "My husband was more than a great football player. He had the smile of a rainbow that touched the diversity of so many. He will forever rest and remain in our hearts till the end of time." And then his parents also issued a statement saying, "Anyone who knew Dwayne knows he worked exceptionally hard to achieve such a high level of success at such a young age. He was touched by so many people on his journey to being a standout athlete, and we are grateful to all of them. This pain is unimaginable, and we appreciate everyone who shares in our heartbreak." And so just from reading this, it just sounds to me like perhaps him and the wife definitely were on the phone, but maybe they had an argument. Maybe she said she was leaving him or something, and he was distraught and, went out into the traffic, saw the dump truck coming and decided to walk in front of the dump truck. That's my theory on what happened. But it just seems so odd that just the language that she used in that 911 call is like she was fishing for information, not someone who was concerned about their spouse, but basically trying to find out, did something happen? And was she on the phone with him as he was walking? Did he call her as he was sitting in the car and then decided he was going to go and find the gas station? None of that makes sense to me. I can see if you were a poor person that didn't have, any access to roadside assistance. He was there with other Steeler players. Why didn't he call them and say, "Hey, I ran out of gas. I don't have AAA. Can somebody come help me?" It just doesn't make sense that this man would have gotten out of his car and made the decision to cross the highway in front of a dump truck in pursuit of gas when there was no signs of a gas station that I could see in the video that the other YouTuber posted. So then let's go on to the story that came out today about the parents saying that they are not going to attend his funeral. And so this is from USA Today. And they're trying to make me subscribe. So it says, the parents of Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Dwayne Haskins say they will not attend his funeral services on Friday. And they were quoted as saying, "We have never met or spoken to the wife, and we didn't want our son's funeral service to be the place we met her for the first time." And that was from Dwayne Sr. and Tamara Haskins in a statement to USA Today Sports. Haskins, as I already stated, was killed on April 9th in Fort Lauderdale when he tried to cross the interstate. And then they go in and talk about this call that came from his wife. And so there are 2 memorials planned in Haskins' honor, one Saturday in Rockaway Township, New Jersey, and a vigil planned for Sunday at Haskins High School, Bullis School in Potomac, Maryland. And it doesn't say if the parents plan to attend those memorials. Calabria and Dwayne Haskins were married in March 2021. In July, Calabria Haskins was arrested in Las Vegas and booked on a felony charge of battery and domestic violence after an argument led to Dwayne Haskins suffering a split upper lip and a missing tooth. The case was dismissed in January of 2022. Oh, okay, I think I said they got married in January 2022. So correction. The case was dismissed in January 2022. They were married in March of last year, so not even married a year. And so the Florida Highway Patrol is still trying to determine the circumstances of Haskins' death and is not commenting until its investigation is complete, which could take up to 90 days. So it would be interesting to see if they come to the conclusion, that this wasn't just a random accident, that this was something he did intentionally, and perhaps they were having marital problems and he just didn't want to deal anymore. So, and then also his career wasn't going the way, even though he was like 3rd in voting for the Heisman Trophy, he was drafted, I believe, number 15 by the Washington team that I keep wanting to call the Washington Commanders. If that is not their new name, let me know that I keep saying this wrong, but I believe it's the Washington Commanders. But he was cut after a year, and then he was signed with Pittsburgh, but he was only signed for a 1-year contract with Pittsburgh. And then they brought in another quarterback, and so you guys know the Ben Roethlisberger retired back in January, and so these 3 quarterbacks were essentially going to compete for the leading spot. And then also interesting was several people came out. One was a football coach or one of the owners, but it was, and then somebody else who has like a podcast about sports. But they came out and made comments basically saying that they were not surprised, or basically that they didn't think he had what it took to make it into the football league. And this was after the passing. And so it does appear that there may have been some stuff going on behind the scenes, but it kind of like got cut off at the path, because everybody came out and talked about how insensitive it was and how dare they talk about him, immediately with his passing. But I think that even though it was inappropriate for whatever they were saying, it was just too soon, like the day that it happened, and you're coming out with these comments. But those comments also kind of were leading that there was something going on behind the scenes, that he may have not been mentally prepared for the NFL and everything that comes, the pressures that come with the NFL, trying to be a leading quarterback, 1st string quarterback, or franchise player, that maybe he just wasn't mature enough for that, and he shouldn't have come out of college after his 1st year, that he probably should have stayed and matured a little more and gotten a little more experience under his belt. So that's it for me. Just want to bring you guys this update to this tragic story. Go ahead, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.